are now doing part 3 of the NEET PG 2024 recall. I am a dermatology third year resident. My ranks were 490 and 634 in INI-SET. In case you want to know more about me or want to watch more of my content, you can visit passionate_dermatologist, where I keep putting interesting derma cases. Now the first question is about psoriasis rubra pilaris. It's a disorder in which we have orangish red hue over the body, but along with that lesion there are islands of sparing, or there are areas of normal skin in between that erythematous lesion. So you have orange red erythema which progresses from head to toe, but it can involve more than 90% of the body surface area also, but there will be islands of sparing. Along with that, you have a hyperkeratosis over your palms and soles. So I hope this is visible. You have hyperkeratosis over your palms and soles. This is called palmoplantar keratoderma or palmoplantar sandals, PRP sandals. This is a question that was asked in one of the previous NEETs. So in case you had done PYQs nicely, you would have got this correct. Then there was a question that said that there are nutmeg grater papules. So these are nutmeg grater papules. Let me show you what a nutmeg grater is, just because I have a photo, nice photo. So this is a nutmeg grater. So you will have papules which look like a nutmeg grater on the patient's body. So you'll have this, you will have this, and you will have orangish red erythema with islands of sparing in between. Alright, then there was a question which asked you the grade of pressure sore. Now the thing is, if a patient's lying down and they develop redness over their skin and you try to press it, but you're not able to blanch it, that means that your patient has pressure sore. Now pressure sore grade 1 only extends up to the epidermis and it presents as erythema over the skin. Grade 2 has gone a little bit into the dermis. You can have blistering, but you will only see red tissue beneath it because you'll be seeing most of the dermis and subcutaneous tissue. Now in grade 3, whole of your epidermis, whole of your dermis is gone. So you'll mostly be seeing subcutaneous tissue. So can you see mostly subcutaneous tissue is there. In grade 4, the subcutaneous tissue is also gone. So you'll be able to see bones. So can you see, you don't have to see at the margins, you have to see at the center. So at the center, can you see this whitish structure? That means the bone is also visible. Now there was another question which said that a woman came with distended neck veins and difficulty in breathing. So distended neck veins and difficulty in breathing points to a thymic mass. But along with that, there is a history of myasthenia gravis in the patient. So T for T, this patient we know that the patient has a mediastinal mass. But when they give you a history of myasthenia, you should immediately know that they're talking about thymoma. Alright, now there was a question on Prader-Willi syndrome in which they had asked the chromosome. Now there's something called as imprinting. We both, like for chromosome 14, I have a maternal copy, I have a paternal copy. In everybody, one of those copy gets imprinted. That means it gets silenced. Now, if the other copy like functions fine, okay. If the other copy has a mutation, we get a disease. Now in Prader-Willi syndrome, what do we have? In Prader-Willi, the paternal allele, so maternal is imprinted and the paternal gets defective. So Papa wali problem is in Prader-Willi. Mamma wali problem is in Angelman syndrome. Now what happens is, maternal allele is defective or deleted. In that case, paternal allele is imprinted. So paternal was imprinted, maternal got defective, you had a disease. Alright, so I think the chromosome only was asked. So these are seen on chromosome 15 of paternal origin. Prader-Willi would be seen in P for P, paternal origin, chromosome 15, that was the question. Now in case they ask you if it was a clinically framed question, you should know that Prader-Willi is also, let's assume, look, most of the fathers in the family, they kind of eat with the kids, they finish off chocolates, toffees and all of those stuff. And mothers are always like trying to make you eat healthier food. So you can say that Prader-Willi will also have hyperphagia, obesity, and mothers are always asking you to study so intellectual disability, hypotonia, hypogonadism. So fathers always try to cool you down, and mothers are always trying to make you work harder. So that is how you can remember, but that's a very vague clue for your memory. But then that is how you can remember if you really want to remember it that way. There was another question on the correct sequence of rigor mortis. So rigor mortis starts from, I have a picture. I have a nice picture, wait. I don't know where it went. Yeah, this one. So I saw it from the internet only. Yeah. So basically what's going to happen is it starts from your face, it goes to the rest of your body, and in the end it reaches your foot. So the correct sequence of rigor mortis would be from head to foot. Now, this question again, which vitamin would be deficient in a gastrectomized patient? So here you have to know that, see, what happens is when we take vitamin B12, it combines with intrinsic factor in the stomach. So B12 and intrinsic factor combine with each other in the stomach, and thereby in distal ileum they are absorbed. Now intrinsic factor comes from the stomach. If stomach is not there, intrinsic factor won't be there, so you'll have B12 deficiency. For attachment of B12 and intrinsic factor, we also need the acidic environment of stomach and stuff. So if there's gastrectomy, B12 should be deficient. In case there's any discrepancy in any of the answers to questions that I put, please do let me know in the comment section. Now there was another question on gag reflex. I found this very interesting photo. Gag reflex, you can remember it like this. So sensory is G looks like 9. So sensory nerve is 9th nerve, the glossopharyngeal nerve. If it is damaged, the patient won't feel anything and they won't gag. And for AG or reflex is 10. So for vagus or 10th is the motor nerve that is going to come, and actually it is going to help you swallow. So 9th nerve is going to take the sensation that you need to swallow, and 10th nerve is going to help you swallow. So gag reflex is 9 and 10. Now there was another question of a female who has amenorrhea for 2 years. There's no withdrawal bleeding on giving either progesterone only pills or oral contraceptives. What is the diagnosis? There was also a past history of TB in the patient. Now it's very simple. See, I have not read such things in so many years, but I could still know what the right answer would be here, because see, your uterus has to be defective for the bleeding to not happen, despite of being that hormonal fluctuation. The hormonal fluctuation should always lead to the bleeding, but if it's not happening, there's some problem or some scarring or something in your uterus, and that happens especially if it is post TB. There has to be scarring in your uterus, and we call it Asherman syndrome. And since there's also a history of TB, you'll also have salpingitis. So these were a few questions that I'd recalled by now. I have a lot more questions to share with you guys, so keep watching this space for more. And you can also follow me on Instagram on Passionate Dermatologist. I keep making really cool content which might help you study better. Alright, take care.